Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve.
Yeah.
The Kraft Cheese Company, who also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night, present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. We'll hear from The Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, quite likely, a lot of you have been wondering about margarine lately, wondering what it's made of, what it tastes like, whether it's really nutritious. Of course, I'm not qualified to speak for all margarines, but I can tell you about Parquet margarine, the delicious, nutritious spread for bread made by Kraft. Parquet is a wholesome vegetable margarine made from selected American farm products in Kraft's spick and span modern plants. And as for flavor, well, Parquet margarine is made by Kraft to the same high standards of flavor and quality as all of Kraft's fine foods. Parquet's flavor is really outstanding. It's known, you see, as the margarine that tastes so deliciously good. Now, how about food value? Parquet margarine is a wholesome, nourishing food, one of the best energy foods you can serve. And every pound of Parquet contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. So with these facts in mind, ask your dealer tomorrow for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Well, now let's see what's happening with the Great Gildersleeve. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the great man is just arriving home. He's a little early this afternoon, since big things are afoot. And as he enters the house, he finds Marjorie and Leroy in the parlor.
Well, happy little family. You're looking very pretty, my dear.
Thank you, Uncle Morse.
So are you, Leroy.
Yeah.
Mr. Gildersleeve, Miss Ransom just phoned. She wants you to come right over.
Oh, well, I'm going right over, Bertie. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
What's going on over there, Unc? Everybody's invited but me.
Well, it's not exactly a party, Leroy. It's a committee meeting. We're going to raise some money to buy the town a new fire engine.
A new fire engine?
Yeah, the old one's got no pumping power, and besides, it never gets to the fire till a half an hour too late.
Oh, that's not on account of the engine, Uncle Mort. It's on account of the driver.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Well, Charlie Prentice drives the fire engine, and Charlie is nuts about a girl that lives way out on Lincoln Avenue.
Well, what of it?
Well, every time they go to a fire, Charlie drives past her house no matter where the fire is.
I don't believe that, Leroy.
Well, you can ask anybody. When they go past the house, he waves at her and she waves back at him. Unless her old man's home.
Yep. Leroy, I'm sure that story is nonsense, but I'll look into it. We'll have no 3-alarm courtships in this town if I can help it. Are you all ready to go, Marjorie?
Yes, I'm ready.
Excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, but are you going to be out for supper?
No, Bertie. I'll be back for supper.
He's just going over there to buy a fire engine.
Oh, you go along, Leroy.
He isn't joking, Bertie. I am going to buy a fire engine.
Mr. Gildersleeve, you can't keep a fire engine in your garage.
I'm not going to buy it for myself, Bertie. The town of Summerfield's going to buy it. I'm just a member of a committee to raise the money.
Oh. What do a fire engine cost, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, another committee is looking into that. I'd guess around $1,000.
My. Do that include the tithe?
Yes, that's with everything.
How you going to raise $1,000, Unc?
We're going to put on some kind of entertainment.
Oh, amateur night.
Well, I don't know what kind of a thing it'll be exactly, but I suppose they'll be after me to play a prominent part.
Is Judge Hooker going to be in it, too?
Hooker? What can he do? Send petty crooks up for 30 days? That's not entertainment, my boy.
No. Have you ever heard him recite the Children's Hour?
No.
He does.
Yeah. Well, he won't do it in this show. Oh, my goodness, I gotta go. Maybe I can help Leila get a few things ready.
Shall I come now, too, Uncle Mort?
Suppose you just wait till you see someone else coming, then you come over, huh? You see, I haven't seen Leila at all today.
I get it.
Leroy.
Everybody gets it, Uncle Mort. You go on, and I'll be over in a few minutes.
Oh, well, who said a man is only young once?
Throckmorton, I was afraid it was some of the others.
Am I early? I hope.
Well, there's nobody else here yet, if that's what you mean.
Oh, good.
You know, I'm so excited. I love giving tea parties, don't you? Now, let's see. There'll be Marjorie and Judge Hooker and Dr. Pettibone and Mrs. Pettibone.
Yeah, why did Hooker have to ring her in for? She always wants to run everything. But this is one show Mrs. Pettibone's not going to run.
Well, I hope we'll get to play opposite each other, Throckmorton. Wouldn't that be romantic?
We will. Either they make you my leading lady or I don't accept the part.
And I hope it will be a costume play.
Well, I think something with a little singing in it would go well.
You know, I have this perfectly gorgeous costume. It was my great-grandmother Winfield's wedding gown with a hoop skirt and no shoulders and all.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
I wore it in a performance we gave down in Savannah, and it was a tremendous success. The gown, I mean. The entertainment lost money, but the boll weevil was bad that year.
Well, the gown is in, definitely.
Gracious, here I am rambling on, and I've got biscuits in the oven. I'll have to ask you to excuse me for a moment, Throckmorton.
Don't get nervous. Let me come and help you.
Oh, goodness, no. You sit down, and I'll be right back.
Oh, no, let me help.
Oh, the kitchen is a mess. And I must apologize for the way I look. I'm a perfect fright in this old apron and all.
That's the cutest apron I ever saw in my life. Ruffles.
Oh, gracious, it's just an old thing I had around the house. And I'm afraid I'll probably have flour on my nose.
You're adorable with flour on your nose.
Have I? Where?
Want me to show you?
Please.
Right there.
Oh, my goodness, the oven, Throckmorton, let me go. It's probably burning.
Oh, let it burn.
Well, if you want to help me here, you'll have to help. Otherwise, I shall have to banish you to the parlor.
Well, just tell me what to do.
Well, first, stop interfering with the cook.
I make no promises.
Well, for wonder, the biscuits are not ruined. I'll give them a few minutes more.
Leila, this is kind of fun, isn't it?
Watching the biscuits?
No, being here in the kitchen together. You know what I'm pretending?
What, Throckmorton?
I'm pretending it's our kitchen.
Oh, let's do that. Let's play house.
Yes, let's.
Now, first you must put on an apron, darling, so you won't spoil your nice new suit. Here, I'll get you one of mine.
Well, your apron would never fit me.
We'll try it. Now, stand still. Why, the strings won't even meet in back.
I told you.
Are you so big or am I so small?
It's you, honey. You're no bigger than a minute.
Oh, why, that just isn't so, Throckmorton. Though, of course, my great-grandmother Winfield was famous for her tiny waist, and I can get her wedding gown on without any trouble, hardly.
Yeah. I'll bet I can get my hands around your waist.
Now. Gonna have to send you to the parlor. Throckmorton, do me a great favor, will you?
Anything for you.
Get me a can of anchovies. That's a lamb. You'll find them in the pantry closet.
Where in the closet?
On about the third shelf, I think, toward the back.
What is this, Fibber McGee's closet?
Throckmorton, did you hurt yourself?
Oh, no, I just got hit on the head with a load of canned goods, that's all. Leila, what is all this? You've got enough canned stuff in there to start a grocery. What's the idea?
Well, maybe you'll think it's silly of me, Throckmorton, but I call that my hope chest.
But Leila...
Well, you see, I have this little man down at the Supreme Market, and he's just as nice. Every now and then he slips me an extra can of something, and I just put it away here for when we're married.
But Leila, that's hoarding.
I'm not hoarding, Throckmorton. I'm just saving up.
If you can tell me the difference between that and hoarding, it's unpatriotic, Leila.
Are you implying that I'm unpatriotic, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, you don't mean to be.
You might be interested to know that I had a grandfather who was a general.
Well, he's probably turning over in his grave right now, then. The Army needs the food, Leila. That's why it's a crime to buy any more than you need.
Oh, so I'm a criminal now.
Well, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did. I scrimp and save to make everything nice for you, and this is the kind of thanks I get. This is the way you play house.
Oh, brother, what a start for a tea party.
Mrs. Pettibone? Oh, thank you, Marjorie.
Well, if you ask me, I think what we ought to do is give a concert. After all, we have some very fine talent here in Summerfield. Mrs. Ransom plays the piano beautifully.
Oh, Throckmorton.
You do. And I'm told that our friend Peavy here is a real artist on the flute.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I haven't played since the town band broke up, and then it was a piccolo.
Oh, well, that's all right. You can practice up, Peavy. Then there's Dr. Pettibone here. I'm sure he has his musical side. How about it, Doctor?
Oh, I'm a wizard with the saw.
You see, folks, we have a wealth of musical talent present. And, of course, I can always sing if necessary.
I don't think it'll be necessary.
What do you mean, Hooker?
Well, you're charging admission for this. You've got to give them something for their money.
I know, a costume drama.
Yes. Now, I recall a performance we gave some years ago of A Tale of Two Cities, in which I happened to play the part of Sidney Carton. It is a far, far better thing that I do than I have ever done. It is a far, far better rest that I go to than I have ever known.
That is a far, far worse performance than I've ever heard.
Well, it's better than your singing.
Why don't we have a minstrel show? I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey.
Edward,
Yes, love.
let's agree on one thing, shall we, everyone? There will be no singing.
I'm for that.
If there's anything worse than an amateur baritone, I don't know what it is.
Well, now, just a minute, Mrs. Pettibone.
Excuse me, Mr. Gildersleeve, but while I have the floor, I should also like to say that I don't think we're going to accomplish anything at this meeting unless we organize.
Organized?
Yes, I think we should have a chairman.
I nominate Mrs. Pettibone.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Judge Hooker. But I'm afraid with my many other duties, the women's club and so on, all in favor, aye. Opposed? Nobody? Well, I guess I have nothing to say about it then.
Hooker,
I suppose my first act should be to appoint a secretary. And for that, I think we should choose one of our non-performing members. Mr. Peavy.
He plays the piccolo.
Nevertheless, I shall appoint Mr. Peavy.
But I've never been a secretary before, Mrs. Pettibone.
All you have to do is write down the minutes. Give him a pencil and paper, somebody. Now, there arises the question of what type of entertainment we're going to give.
Chairman asked what type of entertainment.
I think we ought to give them a good drama, like A Tale of Two Cities.
Why don't we give them something more popular? Something that's been on Broadway.
Oh, I think a costume play would be
I
fine.
still think we ought to do something musical.
Just a moment. Would you repeat those suggestions, please, for the minute?
Yes.
Never mind, Mr. Peavy. As chairman, I think I can settle this very quickly. It happens that I have a play which I wrote myself that I think would be perfect.
Chairman suggested own play.
Is there any singing in it, Mrs. Pettibone?
No.
Oh.
Gildersleeve wants to sing.
But I'm sure you'll like the story, Mr. Gildersleeve. It's about this terribly attractive man. He comes home from Paris and runs into this sweet young thing.
Oh, Leila.
And they fall madly in love.
Sounds very interesting. Go on.
Would you repeat that, please, for the minute?
Later, Mr. Peavy. I won't tell you the whole plot now, but it's a wonderful part for the right man.
Oh, great.
And I think it would be perfect for Judge Hooker.
Hooker? I thought this was supposed to be a romantic part.
Well, whom would you suggest, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, I wouldn't want to suggest anybody, but there must be 2 or 3 people here who could do better than the part than Hooker. 2, anyway. Or 1, at least.
Would you repeat that, please, for the minute?
Oh, never mind.
Don't tell me you think you could play the part, Gildy.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Can you imagine Gildersleeve as a lover?
Why, Gildersleeve, you're 60 pounds overweight. I told you 6 months ago, keep eating those starches, you'll bust those arches. Nobody loves a fat man, you know that.
Leila, do you agree with that?
Well, no, Throckmorton, of course not. But I do think they've got a point.
Oh, you too, eh?
Now, don't take it so personally, Throckmorton. After all, your waistline is something you just can't get around.
Very good. Gildersleeve's waistline is something you can't get around.
Wait a minute. I don't see that that's so very funny.
Now, Marjorie.
My uncle may be a little big, but I'd rather be big like him than small and mean like all of you.
Never mind, my dear. Let you and I go home.
And he can sing, too.
Gildersleeve, you're acting like a spoiled baby.
Really, Mr. Gildersleeve, I must say.
Throckmorton, in my own house, I think you might show a little more consideration.
I'll show you some consideration. I'm going home. But before I go, I want to say that for a bunch of ignorant, incompetent, stupid people, this committee takes the cake.
Would someone repeat that, please, for the minute?
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. You know, that nursery rhyme about Old Mother Hubbard and her bare cupboard has a pretty up-to-the-minute ring to it these days. Because many of you are finding, I suppose, that favorite food products are sometimes missing from your grocer's shelves. Take the case of Parquet margarine, for example, Kraft's delicious spread for bread. Even though Kraft is doing everything possible to keep dealers supplied, some dealers just can't keep up with the ever-increasing demand. That's because more people are asking for Parquet margarine than ever before. They've discovered how deliciously good Parquet is, how nutritious it is, too. Of course, maybe you've been lucky. Maybe your dealer has always had enough Parquet to go around. But with a war on, it's wise to watch your dealer's stocks and buy Parquet whenever you can. Remember, besides being an excellent energy food, Parquet margarine is a reliable year-round source of important vitamin A. So always always ask for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's get back to the great Gildersleeve and his campaign to provide Summerfield with a new fire engine. Several days have passed. He's still on the outs with Mrs. Pettibone and her committee, but in the bosom of his family we find him his old genial self.
Bertie, you're a queen. I'll bet there's not another cook in the country who can make coffee cake like this.
Oh, I didn't make that, Mr. Gildersleeve. Miss Ransom sent it over.
Oh, well, now, wasn't that nice of her?
Like another piece, Mr. Gildersleeve?
No. And if you see me reaching for one, take it away from me. I'm reducing.
Reducing? What's come over you, Unc?
Well, nothing. What's so strange about my reducing?
Can the leopard change his spots?
Huh?
Can the hippo change his potamus?
Leroy, that's not very nice.
Well, let the boy speak his mind, my dear. I seem to be fair game for everybody else. I don't know why my own nephew shouldn't pass a few remarks.
There.
I thought those people were very rude making fun of you the other night. Leroy should have better manners.
Well, I may have flown off the handle a little myself, Marjorie. If the truth be known, I am a trifle overweight just at present.
Yeah, you're really filling out there, Unc.
All right, that's enough.
You're developing quite a rotunda.
Yep. Leroy, that'll be quite sufficient.
I've been noticing it too, Mr. Gildersleeve.
You too, Bertie?
Yes, sir. The last few weeks you've been busting all the buttons off your pajamas.
Yes. Well, I think I'll drop a pound or two and get back into fighting trim.
A pound or two, he says.
Say, here comes Judge Hooker.
Oh, Judge Hooker, eh? Coming around now, huh? They'll all be coming around now, I suppose.
Now, Uncle Mort, be nice to him. I know he must feel terrible about the other evening.
Well, he'll have to be a little nice to me first.
I'll go. Hiya, Judge.
Morning, Leroy. I haven't seen you for some time.
Well, anytime you want to see me, I'm right here.
Marjorie, you're looking very charming this morning.
Thank you.
Bertie, how are you?
Just fine, Judge, just fine.
Got all over that, whatever it was?
Oh, yes. I had a little misery last night, but it's gone now.
That's good. Well, Gildy.
Well, Judge, I suppose you've come here to apologize.
Well, we talked it over.
You can forget about what happened the other night. I've already dismissed it from my mind, and you with it.
Now, Gildersleeve, don't be a sorehead.
Listen, is that any way to apologize?
Gildersleeve, you don't deserve an apology. But the unfortunate fact is we can't get along without you. If we're going to get anywhere with this project, we've got to have you in on it.
Uncle Mort, I think you ought to.
Well, I'm willing to go halfway with you, Judge.
Well, we'll go the other half.
All right. Who gets a lead in the play?
Well, now, Gildy, we went into all that the other night.
So I remember.
Let's face it, old man, if you don't fit the part...
Who says I don't fit the part?
Well, Mrs. Pettibone wrote the play. She ought to know.
Pettibone?
We're having another meeting at her house, and if you'll just come around, I'm sure...
Hooker, I wouldn't go near Mrs. Pettibone's house if it were the last house on earth. And you can tell her so.
Gildersleeve, you're just being bullheaded.
Out of my way. I'm due down at the office. I'm a busy man, Hooker. I haven't got any time for charades.
Mr. Gildersleeve.
Mrs. Pettibone.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve.
She's been laying for me. Oh, hello, Mrs. Pettibone.
Oh, you've been avoiding me, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, no, I haven't. I've been busy.
Oh, yes, you have. But you know, I don't blame you. A man in your position must have so many things on his mind.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have. Now, today I have to see a man at 11, and then I have to see another man at 11:30.
Oh, think of that? Well, I hate to impose on you when you're so frightfully busy, but we're having another meeting tonight at my house, and I really feel that the water department should be represented. It's such a worthy cause.
Well, as you know, Mrs. Pettibone, the fire engine is very close to my heart.
Frankly, Mr. Gildersleeve, I don't see how we could accomplish anything without you.
There's always Judge Hooker.
Oh, you know, Judge Hooker is a dear old thing. But then he is old, and he tends to forget things. And he dawdles. Now, one thing I'll say for you, Mr. Gildersleeve, you're not a dawdler. You're a doer.
Well, I've always prided myself on getting things done.
Exactly the kind of man we need, the executive type. Oh, the world is so full of dreamers, isn't it? And there are so few of us who really get things done. Oh, dear, the world. What are we going to do about it? See you at 8 o'clock tonight.
But wait a minute.
I'm simply thrilled that you can come. Oh, and be sure to bring Mrs. Ransom. I think she's so sweet. I told her you'd call for her.
But...
I'm so glad I ran into you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Oh, this is going to be one of my bad nights.
Any moment now, Mr. Gildersleeve will be arriving. We are very happy to have him back with us, and let's show him we are, shall we?
Well, I don't know why not.
How shall we do that, Mrs. Pettibone?
Well, that's a very good question, Mr. Peavy. Well, in the first place, none of us think Mr. Gildersleeve is fat anymore, do we?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, don't be so literal, Peavy. She means nobody should make any remarks about his figure.
And one more thing. Remember that Mr. Gildersleeve is not completely won over yet. The question of the play remains a delicate point, and I suggest you let me handle that.
Shall I go, love?
Will you, love?
Yes, love.
Now, we're all clear on everything?
Oh, yes.
So. Yeah.
Well, of all people, Gildersleeve and Mrs. Ransom. Gildersleeve, I never saw you looking better. Mrs. Ransom, you look like $1 million.
Oh, now, don't.
Oh, I should have gone myself. Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, I'm so glad to see you and Mrs. Ransom.
Good evening, Mrs. Pettibone.
Mrs. Pettibone, I want to make one thing clear to your committee. I'm only here because I believe in fire engines.
Oh, so public-spirited. I quite understand, Mr. Gildersleeve, and believe me, all of us appreciate your generosity.
Good evening, Throckmorton. Leila, glad to see you.
Good evening, Judge.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. You've lost a little flesh, haven't you?
I don't really know, Peavy. I fluctuate, of course.
Mr. Gildersleeve, Mrs. Ransom, won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
Now, as you all know, we've made quite a little progress in planning our entertainment. And I would like to call on the chairman of the different committees to make their reports. Let me see now, Judge Hooker. I believe you were the auditorium committee.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very happy to report that we've been offered the Elks Hall for the night of the show.
Will it cost us anything?
No, but we'll have to let the Elks in at half price.
Oh, thank you, Judge. Isn't that splendid, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Just fine, Mrs. Pettibone. Congratulations, Judge.
Mrs. Pettibone, can I make my report now?
Mr. Peavy, if you don't mind, I'll call on my husband first. I know he has some very good news for us on the ticket situation. Speak up, love.
Well, Fred Rosenoff is going to print the tickets for us. And if they're all sold, that'll bring in almost $1,500.
Oh, I think that's marvelous, Dr. Pettibone. That's an awful lot of money.
Of course, so far we haven't sold any.
Is Rosenoff charging us to print the tickets?
Oh, no. He has a bad gallbladder I'm looking at.
Could I make my report now, please?
Just a minute, Peavy. Mrs. Pettibone, I'd like to say a few words.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve will be so pleased, won't we?
Of course, Gildy. Go right ahead.
Thank you. Would just like to say that I think the committee has done a wonderful job, and I'm proud to be associated with the committee. That's all.
Mrs. Pettibone, I'd like to have some idea about the show.
Oh, of course, my dear. One thing I meant to tell you. We have a wonderful part for you in which you simply must wear that lovely dress you were telling me about.
Oh, now, isn't that thrilling, Throckmorton? You hear?
That's fine,
Oh,
Leila.
may I say at this time how pleased I am that we've all forgotten our little differences.
Yes.
And I'm sure we're all going to put our shoulders to the wheel and all pull together. Mr. Gildersleeve, there's just one thing now that would make the evening perfect.
What's that, Mrs. Pettibone?
I've never heard you sing. Won't you favor us with a selection?
My golly, she stops at nothing.
Now, Mrs. Pettibone, I told you I'm much too busy to take part in the entertainment.
But just for our pleasure this evening, Mr. Gildersleeve, Please, I'm told you really have a golden voice.
Well, I used to do quite a bit of singing in my younger days.
Oh, he sings beautifully. Do sing, Throckmorton.
Will you play for me, Leila?
I'd love to.
Well, what shall it be? Something short?
How about drink to me only with thine eyes?
Nothing for me, thanks.
Quiet, please. Quiet now.
Drink to me only with thine eyes, and I will pledge with mine, or leave a kiss within the cup, and I'll not ask for wine. The thirst that from the soul doth rise, doth ask a drink divine. But might I of Job's nectar sip, I would not change for thine.
How magnificent.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, simply thrilling, and it's given me a perfectly marvelous idea for my play.
Oh, it has?
Yes, a twist to the story, where a famous opera star comes to this little town where the heroine lives. That's Mrs. Ransom.
Oh.
And of course, when she hears him sing, she falls head over heels in love with him.
Naturally.
Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, you've got to play the part.
Oh, no.
No, please, remember our cause, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, for the sake of the fire engine, all right.
Oh, splendid.
That's fine,
Oh,
Gildersleeve.
that's wonderful. I'm so happy. I just know the play is going to be a tremendous success.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll take in enough money to buy 2 fire engines.
Mrs. Pettibone, could I make my committee report now, please?
Oh, of course, Mr. Peavy. I'm terribly sorry. Just what was your committee?
The Fire Engine Committee.
Oh, yes. And the report?
There won't be any fire engines for sale until after the war.
Well, there's been a lot of kidding around here about Gildersleeve's stomach, but I guess we're all a little concerned about our stomachs these days and what we're going to put in them. They tell me the Army's going to need half of our processed foods this year, which leaves just half as much for you and me as we've been accustomed to. That's why they're going to put in this point rationing system. There'll be a lot of jokes about rationing. I hope I get my share of them. But when you come right down to it, rationing is the only fair way of distributing the food that's available. It gives women with war jobs the same chance as those who can spend the whole day shopping around from market to market. And the poor man will get just as much as the rich man. It's the only fair and democratic way of handling it. Another thing, you hear a lot of vague talk about how much of our food has been going to our allies on Lend-Lease. We looked into that, and do you know how much of our food all our allies got last year? Only 7.5%. And if that contributed even a little to what the Russians are doing to the Nazis right now, brother, it was cheap. Good night, everybody.
This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company, inviting you to listen again next week for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve.
Have you discovered the speedy way to make swell macaroni and cheese? These days, clever women prepare that favorite main dish without any fuss of making a cheese sauce, without any bother with blanching and baking the macaroni. They simply open up a package of the product called Kraft Dinner. They cook the special Kraft Dinner macaroni quickly in boiling water. And with the Kraft Grated, which also comes in each Kraft Dinner package, they sprinkle the cheese flavor through and through. Presto, the dinner main dish is ready in only 7 minutes cooking time. And the cost is only a very few cents a serving. But the best part of it is Kraft Dinner Macaroni and Cheese is extra special good. Fluffy, light, and drenched in cheese flavor. When good cooks discover the 7-minute way of making macaroni and cheese, they say never again to the old-fashioned slow method. Of course, Kraft Dinner is extra popular these days. You can help your dealer with his problem of keeping stocked by ordering your Kraft Dinner early in the week. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. The Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Whedon and Sam Moore. We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve in just a moment. Meantime, let me tell you what a friend told me the other day. She said, we tried spreading parquet margarine on our bread for the first time last week, and we were certainly surprised. Why, it's really delicious. Well, I don't know why anyone should be surprised that parquet margarine tastes so good, because parquet margarine is made by Kraft. Yes, and made to be just as good-tasting and nutritious as all of Kraft's fine foods. Parquet's flavor is delicate and appetizing, just right for a really satisfying spread for bread. And what's more, parquet margarine adds important food values to meals. It's an excellent energy food, one of the best you can serve. And besides, every pound contains 9,000 units of important vitamin A. Yes, parquet margarine is both nutritious and delicious, and it's wonderfully economical, too. So why not treat your family to parquet margarine tomorrow? Just ask your food dealer for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's see what the great Gildersleeve is up to. For a week, he's been strictly on the job at the water department, but today, with everything running smoothly, he's been able to give a couple of hours at lunch to laying out future strategy for Eisenhower and MacArthur. So we find him now at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, returning to his office to sign some letters before proceeding to the barber shop.
Hello? You still there, Mabel? So then we hung around for a while, and... Oh, wait, I think somebody's coming. I'll call you back.
Miss, you there, Bessie.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. I was so busy finishing these letters, I didn't hear you come in.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to ask. They're not done yet?
All but 3, Mr. Gildersleeve, and I'll have those for you right away.
But I only gave you 4. Any phone calls?
No, sir. Oh, yes, there was one from the newspaper.
The Indicator. What did they want?
Well, it was kind of personal, Mr. Gildersleeve.
What do you mean? Who called? The editor?
No, sir. He said he was a society editor.
What did he want?
He asked when you were going to get married.
Oh, well, the date hasn't exactly been set yet. What did you tell him?
Oh, I didn't tell him anything, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Good.
I just said what you told me to say when people called up and I didn't know what to say.
Huh? You did what?
Well, I just did what you told me, Mr. Gildersleeve. He asked when you were going to get married, and I didn't know.
What did you say?
We regret there's been a slight delay owing to the shortage in manpower.
That's all, brother. That'll fix it nicely.
But, Mr. Gildersleeve, these letters...
I'll sign them in the morning, and if the phone rings, don't answer it. Oh, that Bessie, I'm going to have to let her go.
Well, speak of the devil.
Oh, hello, Floyd.
Judge and I were just talking about you, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Are you living at this barber shop now, Hooker? Every time I come in here, you're here.
Every time I'm here, you come in.
Yes, well, just give the judge a quick trim, Floyd. There's no use trying to make him look good.
Gildersleeve, go over there and sit down, will you, and keep out of my hair?
Very good.
I was just saying to the judge here, Mr. Gildersleeve, I can't imagine you a married man.
I'd like to know why not.
Well, you know what they say. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. We're none of us getting any younger.
Maybe you're not.
By the way, Gildy,
Yeah?
when are you and Leila planning to get married?
Why do you want to know?
Just interested, that's all.
Well, we haven't set the date yet.
What's the matter, Gildy? Is she giving you the runaround?
Why do you ask that?
Well, you've been engaged quite a while now. People are beginning to talk.
Yeah.
Beginning to say, what about this? Is she going to marry him or isn't she?
Of course she's going to marry him. Me. We're just waiting till, well, we thought we'd wait a while, that's all.
Well, that's women for you. Try to pin them down and they give you the slip every time.
Yeah.
Now, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I made the mistake of going with a girl for 3 years.
Yes.
That was before I met my present wife. Everything was lovey-dovey from the start, but there was always a million reasons why she couldn't possibly marry me till the day after tomorrow. So in the end, what happens? A cattleman from Kansas moves in, and I wind up married to my present wife, which is okay. We've got a nice little place there. Now, you take my advice, Mr. Gildersleeve. Don't make the mistake I made. Pin her down. Get tough.
Yeah, Floyd, you could be right. Get tough.
And what's more, they love it. Why, 20 years ago, if I'd known as much about women as I do today, it would have been a different story.
You'd have married the other girl?
I wouldn't have gotten married at all.
Wait a minute now. You got me confused. Be tough. That's the way to treat women, all right. Now, look here, Leila Ransom. I've stood all the shilly-shally, and I'm going to. I want an answer, and I want it now. Boo! Leila, never do that to people. It's liable to stunt their growth.
I'm sorry, Throckmorton. Come in, won't you?
Thank you. I was coming in anyway.
I was just going to call you up. I've had the most wonderful news.
It'll have to wait. Leila, I demand to know when we're going to be married.
Well, for goodness sake, is that all?
All? Isn't it important to you?
Of course, but I've been trying to tell you, Throckmorton. My only sister Winfield is coming to visit me tomorrow.
That's fine, Leila, but what's that got to do with our wedding day?
Why, I wouldn't think of getting married without having Winfield at my wedding.
Huh?
And besides, I wouldn't want to rush into anything without consulting her.
Yeah.
I hope she likes you, Throckmorton.
I hope so. What if she doesn't?
Oh, that just couldn't happen, darling. I'm sure it couldn't. Because when you try, you can be so charming. You will try, won't you?
Well, of course.
You see, Winfield's married to a Yankee, just like you. But he's the handsomest man I ever saw in my whole life.
I hate him.
He's an engineer, and he's doing some secret construction work for the government at Camp Fuller. So naturally, Winfield and little Michael wanted to be near him.
Michael?
That's their little boy. He's just about Leroy's age, but he's not like Leroy at all.
Well, that's something. Look, Lita, I'll be good to your sister, and I'll be good to her little boy. But answer me one thing. When are we going to get married?
I'll tell you, Throckmorton. I'll let you take us both to lunch tomorrow, and we can ask her then. Oh, mercy, that reminds me. Here it is almost 9 o'clock, and I've got to get up and meet a 6 o'clock train tomorrow morning.
Can't you stay up just a little longer, Leila? I'll meet the train.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Throckmorton, but I'd rather.
All right, I'll go.
Throckmorton, you're not going away angry.
No, I'm going home and think about the Rommel plan. Wedding bells.
Leila, wake up. It's after 7 o'clock.
Go away. I want to dream some more, Leroy.
Well, hurry up or you won't get any buckwheat cakes.
If that's different, I'll be right down.
Okay,
Wait a minute, Leroy.
What do you want? My cakes will get cold.
Never mind. I have something important to tell you.
You certainly picked the crummiest times to give out with the old malarkey.
This is not malarkey. Shut the window.
Turn off the cold air, turn on the hot.
I heard that, Leroy.
I meant turn on the heat.
Now, listen to me, young man. Mrs. Ransom's sister is coming to visit her.
Is she good looking?
You're getting too fresh. The lady is arriving this morning, and I want you to make a good impression on her.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
Stay out of sight. She has a little boy, and when the proper time comes, it may be all right for you to play with him. But until I say so, don't you go near him.
For goodness sake, what's going on up here?
Oh, good morning, Marjorie. I was just about to get up.
I sent Leroy up because Bertie's making buckwheat cakes, and now Leroy's cakes are cold.
Oh, I'm sorry, my dear. I was telling him how to behave himself while Mrs. Ransom's sister is here.
Oh, when does she come?
This morning. I'm meeting him for lunch today, but we'll have him here soon. And I want everybody to be as nice to her as possible.
Well, I'll certainly do all I can, Uncle Mort. And I'll keep an eye on Leroy. Oh, sure. Let's all keep an eye on Leroy.
No, young man.
You better start keeping an eye on her, If you know what time she came in last night...
Leroy, mind your own business.
Mr. Gildersleeve, what's the matter with this family?
Good morning, Bertie.
I've been cooking here a long time, but this is the first time my buckwheat cakes ever run into a boycott.
Now, Bertie.
It's discouraging, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, but your buckwheat cakes are wonderful, Bertie.
Maybe they are and maybe they ain't. All I know is that you and Leroy walked out on them, and your uncle won't even get out of bed to try a sample.
But, Bertie, I was telling him about Mrs. Ransom's sister. She and her little boy are coming to visit Mrs. Ransom, and all of us must do our very best to make them happy.
Yes, sir. That gives me an idea.
What's that, Bertie?
I wonder, do they need a good cook?
No, gangway, everybody. Get downstairs and plow into those buckwheat cakes. Nice windy corner I picked to wait on. Why can't women be on time?
Throckmorton!
Oh,
Throckmorton, are we too frightfully late?
only about 3/4 of an hour.
Oh, good.
Huh?
Throckmorton, I want you to meet my sister Winfield. Winnie, this is Throckmorton.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Why, darling, he's the spitting image of Harvey Diefenbach. Only Harvey was thin. Well, isn't he?
I see what you mean.
I don't.
Oh, you'd have to know Harvey to appreciate it.
Well, this little man must be Michael. How are you, Mike?
I'm very well, thank you. And you, sir?
Huh? Oh, yes. Well, I'll bet you're a pretty tough customer. You want to fight, Mike? Put up your dukes.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm not allowed to fight.
Oh, Winnie, I'm so glad you're here. It's going to be just like old times.
Won't it? You know, Leila and I were always together. People used to call us the Heavenly Twins.
Oh, really? Well, you don't talk alike.
Oh, well, Winnie's been up north so long, she talks like a Republican. But in the old days, we were more like chums than sisters. Remember when we used to go on dates together?
And dress alike.
Oh, you remember the summer at Virginia Beach when we switched bows?
Yes, and remember the summer I was so crazy about Tubby Walker? Till the day of the picnic.
Speaking of picnics, ladies, how about a little lunch?
Oh, gracious, here we are rambling on like a couple of schoolgirls and forgetting all about Throckmorton.
You know, I can't get over how much he looks like Harvey Diefenbach.
Who on earth is Harvey Diefenbach?
Who is Harvey Diefenbach?
Well, Harvey was an old beau of mine that I got engaged to once when I was young and foolish.
Oh.
I laugh every time I think of him.
You were dead serious at the time, though.
Oh, gracious, yes. And Winnie couldn't see him for dirt. She did everything in her power to break it up.
Oh. Well, how about a little lunch, huh? I don't mind telling you, I'm starved.
Oh, Throckmorton, I hope you don't mind, but we've only got 5 minutes to get to the hairdresser.
But I thought I was taking you to lunch.
Well, that's terribly nice of you.
Well, we thought if you didn't mind, you could take little Michael to lunch while we have our hair done. Don't you think that would be a good idea?
Well, what about the question we were going to ask?
Throckmorton, you're a lamb. Isn't he a lamb, Winnie? Now, Michael, you go with Uncle Throckmorton and have a nice lunch. We've got to run.
Be a good boy, Michael, and do what Uncle Throckmorton tells you.
Have a good time, you man. You hear? See you later.
Come on, Mike.
My name is Michael.
Michael, come on. We're going into the hotel and have lunch.
But I'm not hungry.
Well, I am. I've been waiting an hour.
This isn't a very nice hotel, is it?
It's the best hotel in Summerfield.
I've been in bigger ones.
Sorry it doesn't measure up to your standards. Let's sit here.
Yes, sir.
Now, what would you like to eat, Michael? I see they've got roast beef today.
Well, I don't like roast beef, thank you.
Don't like roast beef? What boy doesn't like roast beef? Well, how about pork chops?
I'm allergic to pork.
What?
It makes me break out.
Oh. Well, how about a poached egg? You think you can handle that?
I had one for breakfast. It wasn't very good either.
Look, Michael, how about a nice bowl of milk toast?
Let's go away from here.
Just a minute.
But I really don't see anything.
Sit down, you. I'd like a little something to keep body and soul together. I'm going to have roast beef, baked potato, peas, succotash, and pie a la mode. And you little squirt, you can sit there and watch me eat it.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. I'm sure you mothers and housewives have noticed that when you cook or bake something especially good for your family, it disappears mighty fast. Well, the same thing often happens to a food product that's exceptionally good, and that explains why your food dealer may sometimes be temporarily out of Parquet margarine, Kraft's delicious spread for bread. Of course, Kraft is doing everything possible to keep dealers supplied, but these days so many people prefer Parquet margarine that some dealers just can't keep up with the demand. Now, I don't mean to say that you can't get Parquet margarine. Likely as not, most of the time you can. But it is wise to watch your dealer's stocks and buy Parquet whenever he has a supply. Remember, Parquet is an excellent energy food and a reliable year-round source of vitamin A. So it's good advice to always watch for and always ask for Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's see how the great Gildersleeve is coming. The last we saw of him, he was stuck with little Michael at lunch while Leila and her sister went off to the hairdresser's. Well, lunch is over now, and a couple of hours have passed, and we find Gildersleeve plodding up the front walk to his house, still with little Michael.
Come on. What are you waiting for?
Why are we going in here?
This is where I live.
Oh, it's kind of funny looking, isn't it?
Listen, I know it's not much, but it's home to me. Now, come on.
Whose bicycle is that?
That's Leroy's bicycle.
He doesn't take very good care of his things, does he?
Yeah. Well, no, he doesn't. But he's a good kid. I'm just beginning to appreciate him. Bertie!
Oh, you didn't wipe your feet.
This is my house, and I can come in with dirty feet if I want to.
That you, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Bertie, has Leroy come home from school yet?
I'll say he's home. I just caught him out in the kitchen stuffing himself with the applesauce I made for dinner.
I don't know what's for dinner, Unc.
That's all right, my boy. If you're hungry, it's a sign you need food. I like to see a boy eat anyway.
Huh?
Leroy, this is Michael.
Hi.
Michael, meet Leroy.
How do you do? I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Is he kidding?
Now, Leroy, remember that Michael is your guest.
My guest?
Yes. I thought it'd be nice if you two boys played together all afternoon.
Oh, but Unc, I was just going over to Piggy. She's expecting me.
Leroy, I'm asking you as a favor to me.
But I thought you told me to keep away from the little punk.
Listen, you entertain the little punk and don't give me an argument.
Mother says it's not polite to whisper.
Yes, and you're right, too, Sonny. Here, Leroy, here's $1. Take it and entertain your little friend in any way you see fit.
Okay, come on, Mike.
Where are we going?
Down to the drugstore. Do you like comic books?
Oh, Mother doesn't allow me to read comic books.
That's all right, Michael. You go with Leroy and have a good time.
Oh, but Mother...
Mother will never know.
Boy, that was a short soda. I win. I hit bottom first.
Well, you cheated. You've still got some left.
I have not. Look.
Well, anyway, I made mine last longer.
Sour grapes.
And when I finish this one, I'm probably going to have another.
Yeah? Who's going to pay for it?
Oh, I've got money. Oh, mister!
His name is Peavy.
Yes? What can I do for you, young gentleman, now?
I'll have another chocolate raspberry soda.
Well, I'm sorry, son, but we have a rule here, only 2 of those to a customer.
I suppose you think if you make me another one, I'll be sick.
If I make you another one, Sonny, I'll be sick.
Well, my mother lets me drink all the sodas I want.
Well, if you'll bring me a note from your mother to that effect, I'll be glad to fill the prescription. But I wouldn't care to take the responsibility myself.
Listen, you have no right...
Hey, why don't you stop hollering and finish the soda you've got?
I don't want to.
I paid for it. You go on and finish it.
I don't want to.
Why not?
I don't think I feel very well.
Here, give it to me. I'll finish it.
Oh, here you are.
Hi, Unc.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Leroy, where in the world have you two been?
Right here.
You know what time it is? Michael, your mother's been looking all over the place for you. She's just about crazy.
Well, I'm afraid our young friend here is overindulged a bit, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah? What do you mean?
I don't feel very well.
Oh, my goodness, look at him. Spots.
Well, now, there's nothing to be alarmed at, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'd say it was just a simple case of hives.
Nothing to be alarmed at. I'll get the blame for this. What's he been eating?
Well, he's under the influence of a couple of raspberry sodas.
A couple? Peavy, what kind of a joint are you running here?
I'm just trying to run a respectable drugstore, Mr. Gildersleeve.
You know what you're running? A public nuisance.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
You ought to know better than to stuff a kid with sodas. How is this going to look for me? I'm supposed to be taking care of this little twerp. When his mother sees him, she'll burn up. What am I going to do?
Well, a little calamine lotion might relieve the irritation.
Oh, goodbye, Peavy.
Oh, it's you, Throckmorton.
I won't come in. I just wondered if little Michael is better today.
A little better, I think.
Fine. Keep him warm. Leila, I wondered if you'd care to go to the movies with me tonight. Bing Crosby and something or other.
Oh, I'd love to go, Throckmorton, but Winfield's crazy about Bing. Why don't you take her instead?
Well, that'll be all right, only...
Oh, thank you, Throckmorton. I know she'll have a lovely time.
Hello, Leila. I have 2 tickets to the subscription concert this evening. Would you be able to go?
Oh, Throckmorton, you must take Winfield. She just loves music.
But I want to see you.
Oh, you can see me anytime.
When, for instance? I got these tickets just for you, Leila.
I know. Get 3 tickets and we'll all go.
Leila, you're going out to dinner with me tonight.
But Throckmorton...
No, I won't take no for an answer. I haven't seen you alone for a week.
Well, I'd love to, Throckmorton, but I just don't like to go out and leave Winfield alone.
I got that all taken care of, too. Judge Hooker's going to take Winnie to dinner and the movies.
Oh.
Now, will you have dinner with me, or do I have to kidnap you?
Oh, Throckmorton, you're so masterful. What can a girl say?
All right. And I'll be expecting an answer to a certain question you've been putting off, too.
Throckmorton, that was certainly a wonderful dinner.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, but it's nice to be home here with just you. I hope Judge Hooker took Winfield to a nice place.
Yeah, don't worry. The judge is a spender. They're probably at the movies by now.
Well, I'd rather just sit here by the fire with you and talk.
Yeah, me too.
What shall we talk about, Throckmorton?
Well, I've been trying all evening to get you to answer one question.
Oh, Throckmorton, you're not going to stop that again.
I'd like to know why not.
Well, you're so unromantic about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about you then, huh? You know what I think is the cutest thing about you?
No, what?
Your ears. Your ears are so pink, and they stick out.
Why, Throckmorton.
From under your hair, I mean.
Oh.
You know, there's something I've been wondering for a long time.
What?
If you kiss a person in the ear, do they feel it or hear it?
That's a very interesting question, Throckmorton.
Yeah, and I know how to find out, too.
Uncle Throckmorton, what are you doing?
I wish that kid was Leroy for 5 minutes.
Gracious, Michael, why aren't you asleep, honey lion?
Well, I got nervous upstairs, Aunt Leila, so I thought I'd come and sit with you for a while.
But, Michael, don't you want the Sandman to come and take you to the land of Nod?
Oh, no, I never go to sleep until Mommy comes home.
You don't, huh? Well, now that's no way to grow big and strong, Michael. I bet if you lie down in your little bed and let Uncle Throckmorton tell you a little story, you'll be asleep in no time.
I don't like stories, thank you.
You'll like this one.
Now, Throckmorton, don't force the child.
Yes, I won't, Leila. Now, let's just try it, shall we, Michael? Just come upstairs with me, and if you don't like the story, you can come down here again.
Is that a promise, Uncle Throckmorton?
Cross my heart and hope you die. I die.
All right, but I'm warning you, I hate animal stories.
Suit yourself, my boy. No animal stories. I'll be back in a moment, Leila.
And I don't like fairy stories either.
All right, no fairy stories.
And I really can't stand it.
Never mind. Now, young man, Let's come to an understanding. I want you to get in your bed and stay there.
But I don't want to.
All right. Now, what do you want most of anything in the world?
I want to be one of the quiz kids.
Well, next to that, be reasonable.
I want a chemistry set.
You sucker. What do they cost?
$2.50, I believe.
All right, here's $3. Now, do you think you can go to sleep?
I think so.
All right. Sweet dreams.
Why, Throckmorton, you're wonderful.
Oh, that's nothing, Leila. I have a way with children.
I didn't realize you were such a storyteller.
You'd be surprised. Oh, don't stop playing, Leila. That was beautiful.
Well, if you really enjoy it. Tell me the story you told Michael, won't you?
What, and put you to sleep, too?
I'll bet it wouldn't. Tell me a story, Throckmorton.
All right, I'll tell one just for you. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess named Leila. She was the prettiest princess in the whole world.
Is the princess asleep for 100 years on account of a witch?
Uh-huh, that's right.
And what does it take to wake her up?
A kiss?
From a prince?
No, from a water commissioner. Leila.
Yes, Throckmorton.
Leila.
Hello, everybody.
Well, I'll be up.
Oh, hello, Winnie, darling.
Don't get me to serve you. I'm just going upstairs.
But, Winnie.
I'll be right down in a minute.
Leila, this is the last straw.
What do you mean, Throckmorton?
You know what I mean. I wanted an evening alone with you, and here she is again.
Well, I'm sorry, Throckmorton.
Don't you try to pull the wool over my eyes. You and your sister planned this.
But, Throckmorton, we didn't.
I'm not blind, Leila. Your sister's doing to me just what she did to Harry Dittendorfer.
Harvey Diefenbach.
Harvey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's been keeping us apart, tearing me down, trying to break off our engagement. It's a conspiracy.
Throckmorton, Gildersleeve, I never heard such talk.
It's not just talk, Leila. I'm through being made a fool of by your sister and your sister's little boy. You can choose between us right now.
Mr. Gildersleeve, I will not deny my own flesh and blood for you or anybody else. Please consider our engagement at an end. Here.
But what?
Your ring. Good night, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Good night.
Hello, Gildy.
Hooker, what did you bring that woman back here for?
Why, we're on our way to the movie. She just stopped in to get her lipstick.
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, here's a special bulletin from Washington. Price Administrator Prentice M. Brown announces that effective today, shoes are rationed. This includes all shoes with leather or rubber soles. Wartime requirements make this necessary. Every person will be entitled to buy one pair of new shoes during the next 4 months. There are only 3 things you must know. First, no shoes may be sold to consumers until Tuesday. Second, beginning Tuesday, every person is entitled to buy one pair of shoes with stamp number 17 of War Ration Book 1, the Sugar and Coffee Book. Third, the shoe stamp from the ration book of one member of a family may be used for any other member of that family group living in the same household. And here's a special word for shoe dealers. Remember, shoes cannot be sold at retail until Tuesday morning, but dealers may make and receive shipments and place orders as usual within the trade. Beginning Tuesday, retailers must collect stamp number 17 from War Ration Book 1 for every pair sold to consumers. Supplies are large enough to provide everyone with shoes and to give everyone his fair share. Good night, everybody.
This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to listen in again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
You women are having your shopping troubles these days. So let me tip you off to a quick solution to that main dish problem. At your food store, whenever you see the yellow and blue package marked Kraft Dinner, think of this. Macaroni and cheese ready in 7 minutes cooking time. You see, that Kraft Dinner package contains a special quick cooking macaroni that cooks fluffy, tender, in boiling water. The package also gives you some Kraft grated so you can sprinkle in the cheese goodness in a jiffy. Just 7 minutes at the stove and you have a dish full of fluffy, light macaroni drenched in cheese goodness. A grand main dish all by itself. And a wonderful extender for a little leftover meat or chicken, too. Each package of Kraft Dinner gives you 4 good servings at the cost of only a very few cents a serving. Of course, this quick-made macaroni and cheese is extra popular right now, so it's wise to order your Kraft Dinner early in the week. This program reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. The Kraft Cheese Company will also bring you Bing Crosby every Thursday night. Present each week at this time Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by John Wheaton and Sam Moore. We'll hear from the Great Gildersleeve in just a moment. But first, if you tax-paying husbands have the special interest in economy that I have this week, just ask your wife to listen closely. It's wise economy to serve the family foods like Parquet margarine, the quality spread for bread that's made by Kraft, for many reasons. First of all, Parquet tastes so deliciously good, it makes the family want to eat more of the plain, wholesome foods that give them strength and energy. When spread on bread or toast or rolls, the delicate Parquet flavor is really special. When used as a seasoning by itself or in tasty cream sauces, Parquet adds real zest to the eating of everyday vegetables. It's a wonderful flavor shortening for baking, too, and for pan frying. Just try it. I know you'll like it. Yes, Parquet margarine is a favorite in millions of homes for all these reasons, and because it's a highly nutritious food in itself. In fact, it's one of the best energy foods you can serve. And every pound contains 9,000 units of vitamin A. So ask your dealer for economical Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's join our friend, the Great Gildersleeve. With the Ides of March almost upon him, he's barricaded himself in his den, where we find him now, alone with his conscience and his income tax return.
There. Wait a minute. What's this? Computation of alternative tax. Use only if you had an excess of net long-term capital gain over net short-term capital loss. And item 23, page 1, exceeds $18,000. What does that mean? Well, I guess the $18,000 lets me out. Let's check through this once more, see if I've got everything. Salaries and other compensation. Dividends. Don't make me laugh. Interest on bank deposits, notes, etc. Wait a minute. That's savings account. What about the interest on that?
Why bring that up?
Yeah. What? Who's there? Did somebody speak?
You heard me. Why bring up a little thing like that bank account?
Who are you?
Your conscience.
Conscience? Well, long time no see. Where have you been?
Oh, around.
Look, about that savings account of mine, the interest on that is income. I'm supposed to report it.
Gildersleeve, are you going to be a weak sister all your life? How are you ever going to get ahead that way?
Well, I want to be fair.
All right, be fair to yourself. Give yourself a break for once. If you don't, who will?
I know, but...
Listen, there are men in this town who make 4 and 5 times what you do. Let them pay their taxes.
But it says right here, interest on bank deposits.
All right, how are they going to find out?
Well, I don't know.
If they find out, all right, you pay. But why should you go out of your way to lose your hard-earned cash?
Well, that's a point, maybe.
I always say what they don't know won't hurt you.
Maybe you got something there, brother. Suppose we just overlook the bank interest.
Now you're getting smart, Gildersleeve. Now you're getting smart.
You guarantee this massage massage, do you, Floyd?
When I get through with you, Judge, your face will be as smooth as a baby's. Well, if it ain't Mr. Gildersleeve. Greetings and salutations, Commissioner.
How's chances for a haircut, Floyd?
Come right in. I'll only be a few minutes. Just giving the judge a little massage here.
What's the matter, Judge? You feeling a little under par today?
Not too good. Been working pretty hard lately. This is a busy season for the legal profession.
How about a little sun lamp, Judge? Take that unhealthy look off you.
Who's unhealthy?
Take the other chair there, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Thanks.
I can work on you while the judge is cooking here.
Yeah, those old goats are tough. You have to let them cook a long time.
There, how's that, Judge? Too hot for you?
No, but what are you trying to do, blind me?
Oh, I forgot. I'll put some cotton over your eyes.
Yeah, stuff some in my ears, too, so I won't hear Gildersleeve.
Yes. Better keep that mouth of yours shut, Judge. You'll get your tonsils sunburned.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, glad you liked it.
Feeling pretty smug, aren't you, Gildy?
Well, why shouldn't I? I've got my income tax all done. Not a care in the world. I'll be enjoying a pleasant weekend while the rest of you fellows are sweating over yours.
You mean you got yours done already?
Sure, all but mailing it. I tossed it off in a couple of hours.
Listen, my friend, this year is no time to be tossing off income taxes.
What do you mean?
Well, they tell me the government's checking up on them twice as carefully this year.
Oh, who told you that?
Never mind. I heard.
Oh, that Treasury Department, they're tough. That's the same as the G-men, you know.
Well, I've got nothing to worry about.
Like last year, there was a guy I knew over in Compton, had a shop there. Doing a nice little business, too. Not terrific, but okay. As a matter of fact, his brother's wife and my wife were... Well, never mind that. The point is, last year, he did a little finagling on his income tax. You know, held out a little interest.
Interest?
Yeah. And a few months later, a big guy walks into his shop and says, "What's about this, mister?"
Well, if you ask me, he had it coming to him.
Yeah, that's right.
That's all. Guy just walks in and says, "What's about this, mister?" Boy, what they can do to you for that. Practically send you up for life.
Look, life? Nonsense. They can't do anything to you if you just make a little mistake. Can they?
You're downright they can, Gildy. The penalties are pretty severe.
Me, I'm taking no chances. I'll tell you about another case I heard about. A fella got the idea that if he
look, maybe I better come back some other time, Floyd. Gotta be getting home now.
But I'm almost through here. It won't be a minute.
Some other time. My hair isn't very long anyway. I'll be back. Gotta run now.
Well, sure, Mr. Gildersleeve, if you gotta run.
Yeah, I gotta run.
Say, Gildersleeve, what's your hurry?
I'm not in any... who said that?
Same old conscience.
Oh, you again.
Yes. Are you going to give in to that weakness, my boy?
What weakness?
You know. You're about to give yourself the worst of it on that bank interest. Sucker.
Who's a sucker? I am not. I'm not going to do anything of the sort.
That's the way I like to hear you talk.
Who's that?
It's me. It's I. Leroy.
What?
What are you doing at my desk, young man? Have you been looking at my income tax return?
No. What's the matter with it?
Nothing. I wonder if the FBI would listen to a kid.
What?
Never mind, Leroy. I'm in a hurry. I want to get that return in the mail right away. In fact, if
Mr. Gildersleeve? Oh, Mr. Gildersleeve, I'm so glad you came home. Could you give me a little financial advice, please?
Bertie, I told...
Oh, this ain't the finance company, Mr. Gildersleeve. This is a lot tougher than that.
What's tougher than a finance company?
Income tax man.
You're right, Bertie, but your tax shouldn't be too difficult.
Oh, no, sir. The tax part's easy. What's worrying me is these here reductions.
The reduction? Oh, well, let me see here, blank.
Yes, it's out in the kitchen. I'll get it right away.
Confound it. I haven't got time to fool with Bertie's taxes now.
Say, Unc, as long as you're here, how about giving me a little help with my homework?
No, Leroy. Homework is intended to be done by the child, not by the parent.
But this is very timely, Unc. It's a composition for current events.
On what topic?
The privileges of being a taxpayer.
I don't believe it.
How about it, Unc? Can you help me?
No, my boy. With that topic, you'll just have to use your imagination. And plenty of it.
Here's my blank, Mr. Gildersleeve. Say, what does this mean right down here?
Where? Oh. Check whether this return was prepared on the cash or accrual basis.
Are they talking to me?
Yes. I don't know who they're talking to, Bertie. That question has been on the form for 20 years. I bet even Morgenthau doesn't know the answer. Now, let's see. You put down your salary.
Yes, all but the reduction.
Reduction? Oh, well, let's hear some of the reductions.
Well, I bought some furniture and a radio, and I sent some money to my brother, and I lent some money to my sister. And besides that, I owe a lot of money.
Bertie, these items are only deductible if they're expenses.
Mr. Gildersleeve, if my brother ain't an expense, I never saw one.
Bertie, the government is talking about business expense, like a farm or a store. I think you can forget the expenses.
Oh, you mean I don't have to say nothing about my farm?
Farm? What farm?
The farm back home where my papa lives.
Does your father own the farm?
No, sir, he just runs it. He don't run it very good, but he runs it.
What does he raise on it?
Peas.
Peas? I never heard of a pea farm, Bertie.
No, sir, I didn't either. We used to raise cotton, but the government said they'd give us some money to raise peas, so we switched to peas. And now we get a pea check every year from the government.
Bertie, I advise you to forget the farm for the present. I'm busy now. I'll help you with this thing tomorrow. Oh, and Leroy, you forget your composition.
Okay, Unc, where are you going?
I'm going to get this return notarized, then I'll mail it and forget the whole thing. Hello, Peavy. What's that bell?
Surprised you, didn't it? It's operated by an electric eye. It's just a new service for my customers.
For your customers?
Yes, if I'm asleep in the back of the store, it wakes me up.
That's very remarkable. Look, Peavy, I'm in a hurry. You're a notary public, aren't you?
Yes, I am, Mr. Gildersleeve, although I haven't done much of that sort of thing lately.
Never mind. I've got the postman in his truck outside waiting for this letter, and I want you to notarize my signature.
Well,
Oh, there's the postman now. I'll tell him he'll only be a minute. Newt, I'll just be a second.
Okay.
Now, hurry up, Peavy. There's nothing difficult about just notarizing a signature.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. There are tricks to every trade. Be with you in 2 shakes.
What are you doing, Peavy?
I'm trying to find my stamp. It's been some time since I've done any of this legal work.
Oh, well, get a move on, counselor. United States mail waits for no man.
Oh, here it is. All right, where I left it.
Where was it?
Underneath the razor strops.
Yes.
Now, let's see. Stamp pad's dried up a little, but I guess we can moisten her up with some H2O. That's pharmacy lingo for water, Mr. Gildersleeve.
I know that, Peavy. I'm water commissioner in this town.
I'd clean forgotten that.
Hurry up, Peavy. This is the last mail. Just a second, Newt.
Okay, but I ain't got all day.
Now what, Peavy?
It's working. There. See?
Oh, given under my hand and seal as a notary public in this state on the blank day of blank in the year 19 blank. My commission expires on March 31, 1918. Peavy, you haven't been a notary for 25 years.
Well, what about it?
Yep, never mind, Newt. I can't make it today.
Well, for...
Peavy, I don't know why I keep doing business with you. You're the most inefficient druggist in the county, and you know it.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. What was it you wanted notarized anyhow, Mr. Gildersleeve?
What do you suppose, Peavy? Monday's March the 15th. I wanted to notarize my income tax return.
Well, I wish you told me that, Mr. Gildersleeve. It's not necessary to get them notarized this year.
What?
That's right. Here. Just look at the bottom of the form.
Where? Oh, by George, you're right. Well, I guess I'll be running along then.
Can't I sell you something, Mr. Gildersleeve?
No, not today, Peavy.
Well, just a minute, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'll show you a trick. If you know how, you can step over the beam of this electric eye and go in and out without making a sound. Look. See? I fooled the beam.
Peavy, you're a fool. Yeah.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few seconds. Meanwhile, a few homemakers are finding it harder than ever to serve food that combines the flavor your family wants with the nutrition they need. Let me suggest a food that's helping millions of families solve that very same problem. It's Parquet margarine, the delicious, nourishing spread for bread made by Kraft. Parquet has a delicate, satisfying flavor that makes it a just about perfect spread. And when used as a shortening, it makes delicious, crispy cookies. Parquet margarine is a wonderfully tasty seasoning for hot vegetables, too, and most good cooks prefer it for pan frying. You see, Parquet doesn't spatter or stick to the pan. In all these ways, Parquet margarine adds real appetite appeal to wartime meals. But it's important to know, too, that Parquet is one of the best energy foods you can serve. And every pound contains 9,000 units of vitamin A. Now, if you can't buy Parquet the first time you try, it's because of wartime shortages and Parquet's growing popularity. But Kraft is doing everything possible to keep dealers supplied, and you should be able to get it soon. So ask for economical Parquet, P-A-R-K-A-Y. Parquet margarine made by Kraft. Now let's get back to the great Gildersleeve. Our hero has spent a restless night dreaming of deductions, exemptions, and computations. He rises Sunday morning still suffering the pangs of indecision and making them pretty tough on the rest of the household.
Bertie,
Yes, Miss Gildersleeve?
I wonder if you could warm up this miserable little cup of coffee.
Yes, sir, right away.
Why didn't you drink it while it was hot, Uncle Mort?
Because then it'll be gone. This way I have the fun of smelling it a little longer.
You didn't eat much breakfast,
No, my dear, breakfast doesn't mean what it used to on Sunday mornings.
but you had everything you used to have.
I know, but I feel guilty eating it.
Unc, could you help me with my homework now?
Leroy, I'm in no mood to compose a composition.
Oh, please, Unc.
No, I'm going to lie down and read the Sunday paper.
But you haven't had your coffee. You can help me a little, Unc. I got a swell start on it.
Start? Let me hear it.
Okay. Let us be thankful that we live in a country like this, where freedom shines like a beacon unto the world. Till this war is won, we at home should consider it not only our duty, but our privilege to go without things and pay our taxes. How's that, Unc?
Say, that's pretty good, Leroy.
Thanks, Unc.
Yes, my boy, you're beginning to develop quite a style. A little like Macaulay. Wait a minute. Did you make that up, Leroy?
Practically.
Where did you find it?
On that blotter from the bank.
Oh, so... I thought so. Young man, do you know that plagiarism is a serious crime?
Yeah, who'd do such a thing?
You have just done it.
Here's your coffee, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Thank you, Bertie. Leroy, go up to your room and write 50 times, plagiarism is a crime.
50 times?
50. And don't argue, it'll be 100.
Okay, Unc. Gosh, 50 times.
I gotta do something about that kid. See who that is, will you please, Bertie?
Yes, sir.
No time for anybody to be calling on anybody.
Good morning, Throckmorton.
Hello, Leila.
Hello, Marjorie.
Good morning. Say, I like it.
You do?
I think it's awfully cute.
What are you two talking about?
My new fascinator, Throckmorton. Don't you like it?
Where is it?
On my head, silly.
I thought that thing was a shawl.
Oh, man. Throckmorton, hurry and put on your coat. We're late already.
Late? Late for what, Leila?
You haven't forgotten your promise to go to church with me this morning, have you?
Oh, but Leila, my income tax, I've got to get it off.
You can finish it later, Throckmorton. Here's your coat. Now, come on, you old heathen, you.
But I...
Hush up now. We've got to get along. See you later, Marjorie.
Yes, we'll be along.
Here's your hat, Throckmorton.
That's Leroy's hat. Here's mine. Well, let's go then.
Hey, Unc, wait a minute.
What is it, Leroy?
How do you spell plagiarism?
P-L... Just right, I've been a naughty boy.
I thought it was such a worthwhile sermon today, didn't you, Throckmorton?
Yeah.
And Dr. Needham is such a fine-looking man. Don't you think so? Don't you think so, Throckmorton?
Yeah.
You know, when he stands up there and preaches, the way he looks at me, I just feel that everything he says is meant for me. Don't you, Throckmorton?
Yeah.
Throckmorton, can't you say anything but yes?
Yes. I mean no. I mean yes.
Honey, what's wrong? You haven't been yourself all morning. Tell Leila what's wrong.
Oh.
You seem so distant somehow.
Well, I was just listening to the sermon, that's all.
Well, I don't know what was so fascinating about the sermon. Oh, of course, I thought it was very worthwhile and all that, but the way of the transgressor is hard. I guess we all know that.
I wonder if we do, Leila. I wonder if we do.
Throckmorton, you're the strangest man. You're so moody. Just sat there all through the sermon staring at your hands and never once looked at me. I couldn't help noticing that George Bagby never once took his eyes off me, if it interests you.
Interest?
Well, I see it doesn't.
Leila, don't misunderstand me, but I've got problems.
Well, I'm sure I don't know what kind of problem would make a gentleman invite a lady to church and then be rude to her.
But I'm not being rude. I mean, I didn't mean to be. The sermon started me to thinking, Leila, that's all. There's something I've got to attend to.
Well, you run right along and tend to it. Just leave me here at the gate.
But, Leila...
No, I won't invite you to stop in this morning because I know you're much too busy.
Leila!
Goodbye, Throckmorton, and thank you for the use of your arm.
Bertie, when's dinner?
Pretty soon now, as soon as your uncle and Miss Marjorie and Mr. Ben get here.
What are we having?
Something you like?
What is it?
Oh, something you like.
Ah, you won't talk, huh?
Leroy, you get out of here and don't come messing around my kitchen when I'm getting Sunday dinner. I ain't in no mood.
Okay.
And keep away from that dining room table after I said it.
Well, can't I just have a piece of celery? I'm starving.
Well, just one. And I didn't say you could have no olives. Now, go on.
Gosh, I could die of hunger around here and nobody would care. Oh, hiya, Ben.
Hi, hello there, young fella.
There's Unc.
He'll be along. He just got for a word with Mrs. Ransom.
A word. That can run into days.
Let me take your coat, Ben.
Oh, no, I know where the closet is. Here, let me take yours.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Ben, you know anything about putting airplanes together?
Little. I used to make a lot of them when I was a kid.
Swell. How would you like to help me with one?
Now, Leroy.
I get all the parts. It's me. Complete kit, 98 cents. I'll go up and get it if you say so.
Well, time's a little short, isn't it, for dinner?
Nah, we can get a good start on it and finish it up this afternoon.
Leroy, now don't bother Ben. He's worked hard all week, and he'd just like to sit down on a sofa and rest. Wouldn't you, Ben?
Sure. Anything you say.
How do you know what he wants to do? Let the guy make an airplane if he wants to, will you?
He doesn't want to make an airplane.
Oh, no? Don't you, Ben? Don't you want to make an airplane?
Well, I do anything anybody says.
There, what did I tell you?
Leroy, go away. Just go away.
Go away. That's all anybody ever says to me. Go away. What am I, a leopard or something?
All right, do it.
I'm warning you, Ben. Give her an inch and she'll take a mile. She'll henpeck the life out of you.
Quite a brother you got there.
Oh, don't mind him. He's spoiled. Come on, let's sit over here on the sofa, shall we?
Sure. Anywhere you say.
There. Now, what is it you were going to tell me?
Well, I don't know what you're going to think of it.
Well, why don't you ask me and find out?
Well, maybe I've got a nerve thinking you care one way or the other.
Why, of course I care, Ben. What is it?
Well, Marjorie, I've got a chance to become an assistant inspector.
Oh.
It's a good job. It's for quite a lot less money.
Less?
Yeah, it's for the Army, sort of an inspector on Army contracts. I guess, well, they must need people pretty badly or they wouldn't take me. Well, not right away. I'd probably be working here at the plant, only I'd be working for the Army instead of for the company.
Oh, then I think it's wonderful. I think you ought to do it.
You do?
Uncle Mort, is that you?
Yes, me.
Uncle Mort, guess what? Ben's been offered a job for less money.
Well, that's fine. Or is it?
It's for the Army. Plant inspector. Is that it, Ben?
Well, it's not said or anything, Mr. Gildersleeve. They were just talking to me about it.
I told him you ought to go ahead and take it.
They're going to pay you less, you say?
Yes, sir, but I figure after all, the boys in the Army are only getting $50 a month.
That's right.
Money isn't everything, as the saying goes.
No, it's not.
And I figure anybody who doesn't do anything he can to help these days isn't going to feel he's worth much.
Oh, Ben, I'm proud of you. And I'm going to kiss you right in front of Uncle Mort.
Oh, gosh.
Aren't we proud of him, Uncle Mort?
Yes, I'm proud of you, my boy. Lips are so red now, too. I wish I could say I was proud of myself, though. Will you excuse me for a moment? I'm going to the den. Call me if dinner's ready.
But Uncle Morty will be ready any minute.
And start without me. I've got something I've got to get off my mind right away. No, we'll see about this thing. I'm going to get an honest night's sleep. It cost me a year's salary. Where is it? Where is that tax blank?
Right in the upper left-hand drawer where you put it.
Thanks. Oh, you again. I thought you'd be coming around.
What you gonna do, Gildy?
Never mind what I'm going to do. You just watch.
Gildersleeve, are you going to be a sucker all your life?
Oh, go away and let me alone, will you?
Now, Gildy, don't be like that. I'm your pal. I'm just trying to help you.
Well, I don't need any help right now.
Listen, pal, do you know what's going on right this minute, only 3 blocks from here?
What?
Judge Hooker, that pillar of the law. He just deducted $150 for a bad debt that never existed.
That's a lie. Hooker wouldn't do a thing like that.
Listen, that old goat...
He may be an old goat, but he's an honorable old goat.
Gildy, I'm trying to tell you that kind of thing is going on all over the country. Why should you be different?
Listen, you can't talk like that about this country. You're not my conscience. Who the devil are you, anyway?
Yes.
Hitler? The devil, that's who you are. You're the devil.
And what are you going to do about it?
I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. There. Take your dirty, crooked deductions and get out of here.
No!
Yeah. Now, interest on savings account, $2.16. By George, I feel better already.
Dinner's on the table. It's getting cold.
Coming, my dear. Save some for me. Well, is nobody eating?
Why, we're waiting for you to carve.
And step on it, will you, Unc? I'm dying.
No more than I am. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse.
You ain't going to have to, Mr. Gildersleeve. I got a roast of beef.
Ooh, look at that. Oh, Bertie, that's the prettiest sight I ever saw in my life. Where in the world did you find it?
Oh, I had my eye on it. I've been trailing it for a week.
Yes. Ben, how do you like yours? Rare, medium, or well done?
Oh, anyway at all for me.
Oh, speak up, man. We've got all kinds here. Every man to his taste.
He likes it medium, Uncle Morty.
Let Ben decide for himself, why don't you?
Yeah. Kind of medium for me, Mr. Gildersleeve.
That's the stuff. Well, eat hearty, everybody. This may be the last roast beef we'll see till the war's over.
Unc, don't say that.
My boy, while this war is on, no sacrifice is too great.
That's true.
Let us be thankful that we live in a country like this, where freedom shines like a beacon unto the world. I mean it. Till this war is over, we at home should consider not only our duty, but a privilege to go without things and pay our taxes. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked to give you a brief message of great importance. If you're a single man or woman and you earned more than $500 during 1942, you must make out an income tax report. If you're married and living with your wife or husband and you earned over $1,200 in 1942, you must make out an income tax report. You must mail your report before midnight Monday, March 15th. To make out one of these reports, all you have to do is go to any bank and ask for an income tax form. They'll give it to you and tell you where to mail it. Good night, everybody.
Music on this program was under the direction of Clark Sweeten. This is Ken Carpenter speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to listen again next week for the further adventures of the Great Gildersleeve.
You women are having your shopping troubles these days. So let me tip you off to a quick solution to that main dish problem. At your food store, whenever you see the yellow and blue package marked Kraft Dinner, think of this. Macaroni and cheese ready in 7 minutes cooking time. You see, that Kraft Dinner package contains a special quick cooking macaroni that cooks fluffy, tender, in boiling water. The package also gives you some Kraft grated so you can sprinkle it in the cheese goodness in a jiffy. Just 7 minutes at the stove and you have a dish full of fluffy, light macaroni with cheese flavor through and through. A grand main dish all by itself, and a wonderful extender for a little leftover meat or chicken, too. Each package of Kraft Dinner gives you 4 good servings at a cost of only a very few cents a serving. Of course, this quick-made macaroni and cheese is extra popular right now, so it's wise to order your Kraft Dinner early in the week. This program has reached you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.